Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to class today. Um, so we're actually gonna start laying down. I'm gonna stay seated for a moment so that I can read something. But I want you to go ahead and grab your strap if you have one and put it in a loop. And then if you're willing, take that loop around your waist, actually not around your waist, but way, way, way down at the hip level. And I'm kind of demoing here as I go. Make sure the buckle is to the outside and then make sure the buckle is in the middle soft belly flesh. So you want that strap at pretty much as low as you can go, almost to the hip crease or at the hip crease, because especially once you lay down, um, it's going to shift a little bit. So you want it snug, but you want the buckle in the soft belly flesh so that you're not pressing it onto bones. And I'll tell you where we're headed today. Always hard to admit as a yoga teacher. I tweaked my back about 3 or 4 days ago. I know it's an SI joint back here, the sacroiliac joint, and it's being stubborn. So I thought I would share with you what I've been doing every day to kind of loosen that baby up and get the pelvis moving, and then add on to that. So kind of that's where we're going. The strap around the hips, this is one of those awesome little first aid things that when the SI joints get out of alignment, to stabilize the hips can be really helpful. It just kind of holds them in place like somebody's kind of pressing from all four sides. And this can be really nice just to get through your day or to walk or to sit, to make that a little bit more comfortable. So that's one trick right there. And with that, go ahead and lay down and find yourself comfortable. You're welcome to use a small little blanket or something under your head. And you're welcome to have either your legs, your knees bent and your feet on the floor, or your legs straight. Just kind of notice what feels comfortable to you. And the strap around the hip should be snug, unless there's a reason for you not to, and you don't have to use it, by the way, but it should feel rather snug, but still loose enough that you could get a finger or a thumb underneath the strap. And I wanted to read a quote that I wrote down from Magnolia magazine. I wrote this down probably earlier this year, but it came to, as I was looking through my stuff, I saw it today and thought I'd share it. It says, our days are shaped by how we move through them. Our postures say something about how we're showing up for ourselves, for others, for the big moments and the quieter scenes. A new point of view, even just a turn of the page, can open us up to reconsider how we position ourselves to the world we live in. What's visible can become tangible in how we carry ourselves throughout a day. Being present and connected to ourselves, being connected and present to others with intention. Everyday postures can take on the power of presence. And I like that quote not only for the reminder that it's possible to be present and connected both with ourselves and with others, but that everyday postures, whether we're out in the world or we're on our yoga mats, we do so many of the same postures over and over again, but with presence, with awareness, we can start to expand our view of what we're doing, both with the posture itself and with the body, with our minds, with how we perceive things. So today I'm hoping that you just come into presence, come into awareness with your body and see where it takes you. So with that, start to feel your body on your yoga mat. Notice where you are in space, what parts of your body are touching the mat, and even which parts of the body are not touching the mat. Feel the strap around your hips. It should be comfortable, but just a little on the tight side. And start to tap into your breath. How does that feel this morning? Are you breathing freely or are you stuffy? Does your breath feel short or staggered? Can you be present in your body in this moment? And as you stay on the mat, maybe you feel yourself starting to settle in. Your body knowing that it's about to do yoga, or it is already doing yoga, right? And it starts to settle into this nourishing, affirmative practice. And yet, with a beginner mind. So, if your legs are straight, go ahead and bend the knees and place your feet on the floor. Your feet are roughly hips width apart. And then take the arms to into cactus pose. So the elbows are bent, the shoulders to elbows line up, and then the elbows to your hands line up in a 90-degree pattern. And notice how this feels. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, start to soften the ribs and the back down to the floor, coming to a flat-ish back. Really dropping the low ribs down into the belly, and then releasing that inhale. Exhale. So the ribs soften down, the belly presses in, the back goes closer to the floor, and just release with the inhale and exhale. Imagine that someone has their hands on the lower part of the ribs, the front lower ribs, and is gently pressing those down toward the belly every time you exhale. Just starting to line up the back, the spine, slight tuck of the pelvis. Good, one more here. And exhale. And then release those arms down to your sides. A few little pelvic tucks and tilts here. And again, at any point that this strap bothers you or impedes you in some way, feel free to take it off. It won't be there all class. So we're rocking up and down at the pelvis, down toward the tailbone, and up to the very top of the sacrum. Just starting to rock a little. Maybe you go slower and you feel what is happening with your pelvis, right? With the rock, the forward and back moment, with the arch and the tuck. And then see if you can find neutral. See if you can find that neutral spine. Usually, if your strap is in place, it's right about where that strap is, wrapped across the sacrum. Draw your right knee to your chest. Take the hands behind your knee and then extend that leg up toward the ceiling. So real simple at first, real easy at first. This is what I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 days. Feel the extension of the right leg, maybe press the heel up toward the ceiling. And then only if you want, straighten the left leg down to the floor. Try to soften the shoulders, try to soften the belly a little bit. Allow the left thigh to stretch. Allow the right hamstring to stretch. Nice, easy, deep breaths. Keep the upper body soft. And then simply bend the right knee and straighten it again. Good, 2 more, just like that. Bend and straighten, and last one, bend and straighten, still holding on to that leg. Lift your left leg a couple of inches off the floor if you would like. So some core work here. The low belly tones. We find our breath. The pelvis is neutral. And release both knees to your chest. The right foot goes to the floor. The left leg extends. The hands go behind your left leg. Here we are on this side. Feel the heel of your left foot press a little higher up toward the sky, the ceiling. That leg nice and extended. Maybe straighten the right leg. And just get a sense of what this does to your pelvis, to your back. Can you stay more or less neutral? Can you feel the strap underneath your hips? Deep breath, everybody. Soften the shoulders, tone the lower belly, lift your right leg a couple of inches. Find your breath. Keep the legs even, keep them extended. Tone in through the belly. And release both knees to your chest. Good. Take both hands to your knees and then take the knees out wide. So it's as if you were doing a wide leg pose here, but the knees are bent. And then extend the legs out. So now we are wide legs. Use your hands for support. Bring the legs all the way together. Both legs are pointed up toward the ceiling. Bend your knees and then do that again. Open the knees wide, extend out, bring them back together. You can release the hands if you don't need them, but I like using the hands just to keep control here. Taking them up. Now think about what we're doing, right? As we reach out, opening up the inner thighs, then extending the legs out, the pelvis relatively neutral the whole time, the legs coming together. Good, one more, just like that. Open and extend and bring them back together. Bend the knees and reverse. Take the legs straight up. Open them out to the sides, bend the knees, and bring the knees back together. Extend up, open wide, bend the knees, bring them back together. Just one more here. Extend and open and bend those knees and bring them back together. Nice job, everybody. Go ahead and put both feet on the floor. Cross your left knee over your right. Bring both knees to chest. And then think about this idea of a neutral spine, right? If I bring my knees all the way to my chest, which I'm doing right now, I get a lovely stretch in the left hip, and my back is flat on the floor. If I move the knees away just a little bit, I come to more neutral spine, and then bring the knees back toward chest. Good. Move them away a little bit, and then knees back in. Good. Last one. Move them away and back in. Release both feet back to the floor. Switch sides. Your right knee crosses over your left and both knees come to chest. Pause here, feel that side. And then the same thing, the knees coming close. They move away a little bit. Don't overarch. They come in and move away. One more. Nice squeeze in and release. And then undo the legs, both knees to your chest, both feet to the floor. Last one here before we get off the floor. I want you to lengthen your tailbone. So that lower back is coming close to the floor, and then pull the heels back toward your glutes isometrically. You should feel those hamstrings fire up. If you cramp, let that go or straighten the legs for a moment. But tuck the tailbone, pull the heels back, lift your hips, bridge pose. Your upper arms can be on the floor. Your fingertips are pointing up toward the ceiling, right? This little robot arms here with your elbows down at the floor. And breathe and lengthen your tailbone, but then drag the heels back. So engaging and working with the hips and the glutes. I want you to take a nice deep inhale here, lift up. Exhale, let the hips come back to the floor. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hips to the floor. Good, 3 more, press up. Exhale, down. 2 more. And down, everybody. Bridge pose. Last one. Lift, hold here, breathe. Press both feet back toward the hips. Lengthen the tailbone. Imagine if you could knit the hamstring muscles and the glute muscles, feather them in together and let them work together. Breathe, everybody. And exhale, hips down first. Release the rest of your back. One knee to chest, the other knee to chest. Roll over to one side and come on up to a seat. So while you're here, you can leave that strap on if you want. If you've had enough of that, go ahead and take it off. And then find a comfortable way to sit, to your seat. And just notice again how that feels. Maybe you're sitting on a blanket, maybe you're sitting in a chair, maybe you move the flesh out from the sit bones, and notice which way you always crisscross your legs and switch. Oh yeah, always feels a whole lot different. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, one hand down, the other one over. I want you to reach that arm more so than you bend to the side. Press that heel down. Find your breath. And then inhale, both arms up. Squeeze the beach ball. Exhale, take the other arm over. Soften the shoulder that is sustaining you here. Press down through that opposite hip. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms. Twist to one side. Go easy. Hands come down. One hand to opposite knee, the other hand behind. The chest is lifted. The belly is toned. Use your breath. Release your twist. Take it up. Cactus arms. Go the other way. Hands down. Open up the shoulders. Don't over twist. Especially when we're using a hand somewhere, we don't want to use that to such a point that we're over torquing through the spine. Lift the chest, everyone. And release, take the arms up. Exhale, take it down. Good, just one more here. Want you to take, I'm gonna mirror here. So take your right hand and plant it on the floor, like plant it down. Take the other arm up and turn the palm forward. Turn the palm forward. And then notice, right, some of you I see are kind of creasing the wrist. Just let the hands go straight up. And then press down at the floor to lift that arm higher. And breathe. And then release. Other side, press down through your left, lift your right. Breathe. Notice if you're creasing at the wrist, push down on the floor. And release. Good. This time I want you to take your right hand and just put it in the hip crease. So I've got my thumb forward and my fingers kind of wrapped around that hip, just so you have that sense. You're going to see this later. Now, once you've done that, kind of relax that elbow. Take that opposite hand and lift it up. You're going to see this a bit today. Good. Breathe. Pressing down, grounding that hip as the other arm stretches up. Good. Release. Other side. Thumb goes in. The fingers wrap around. The other arm goes up. The palm is forward. The belly is toned. And release. Nice job, everybody. If you would like, keep your loop, but make it bigger and take that strap off. Set that aside for now. Come on to table pose. You're gonna want your blocks up by the front of your mat. And by the way, if you have a blanket and you want to put that underneath your knees, that is just always a nice thing to do for your body. Good. So find that, right? And tuck your pelvis and come into a nice cat pose and pause here for a second. Feel the tops of your feet on the floor. Feel the rounding of your shoulders and then slowly release, letting the low back start to sink toward the floor. Let the upper chest start to lift up. Find that. Flip your toes under and come back to your heels. Now, I know some of you are not going to be able to do this because you can't get on knees. So I would do hands on chair. Good. And then round up nice and slow. Inhale to cow. Exhale, sink back. Stretched out arms, stretched out torso. Good. Last one. Curl up. Release into cow. Press back, reach. And then tuck the belly in, lengthen the tailbone, press your hands into the floor, stretch. And come back up to table pose. Flip your toes under if they're not already. Lift the legs, take it into downward facing dog. Just flip, just walk in place. Bend one knee and then the other. Check your hands. Check the arms. What are they doing? Find your breath. And then tippy toes, lower your knees to the floor. Step forward with your right foot. Now here's where you want to grab your blocks in it. I'd suggest you take them up at that nice high level, right? Even if you are normally don't need them that high. And if you don't have blocks, by the way, just hands to floor is okay. And then feel this kind of stretch of the left thigh. Take your right hand, your right thumb to your right hip crease, wrap the fingers around, hold on to that hip, level it out, tone the belly, take the left arm up and breathe. So what are we doing here? I'm going to face forward for just a second. So what happens a lot, right, when we're doing lunge or warrior one or all those is that the hips get really skewed. So I want you to feel the thumb here, pressing that hip open, engaging the back glute so that the hips feel steady, kind of even-ish, right? Even-ish. And then the glute engages so that we don't overshoot the front hip. Good, breathe. Take both hands back to the blocks, straighten the front leg. You can take your right thumb back to the right hip crease for a moment. You'll feel that shift in the hip as you dig the thumb in, as you wrap the fingers around. Maybe the hip will circle and we'll find some more evenness in the hips. Good, bend your knee. Set that foot back. Take your blocks off to the side for a moment. Flip your toes under, downward facing dog. Now in down dog, I want you to pretend you're squeezing a block. Breathe, extend through the torso, tone in through the belly. Use your breath. Inhale, tippy toes, lower those knees to the floor, step forward with your left leg. Same thing. You're finding that nice knee to ankle, right, of your front leg. Your hands go to your blocks. I'm going to take my left thumb to my left hip crease and draw that hip crease deep. Not everybody needs to rotate it out, right? It's just going to depend on your body. But if we create that nice deep hip crease, we're going to find a little better alignment, ideally, with the spine. And then take the right arm up and breathe. Engage the right glute muscles. Feel that nice, sweet pose. Take the right hand down to your block. You can take the left hand down or leave it there as you reach back with those hips and straighten the front leg. Find your breath, everybody. Release, bend that front knee. Just set your blocks aside. Take the left foot back. Flip your toes under. Come to downward facing dog. Maybe shake out those hips a little, maybe sway side to side. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, knees down. Keep your toes flipped under. Sit back at those heels. Round up. Release and inhale. Find a neutral spine, downward facing dog. Just a tiny flow here. Tippy toes, knees down. Keep the toes flipped under as you reach back to your heels. Round your body up. Release into cow. Tone in neutral spine, downward facing dog. Just one more, tippy toes. Knees down. Sit back. Round up, everyone. Release, nice open belly. Lift your chest. And then tuck it all back to center, downward facing dog. Take your feet nice and wide on your yoga mat and start to walk those hands back. Find a sweet forward fold. You can move your blanket out of the way if it's convenient there. If your lower back is bothering you, you're going to come halfway up. Just watch you don't lock those knees out. And then everybody turn their toes out, bend the knees, take one hand to each knee, and come on up to standing. Whew, good job. Shake it out and just kind of get a sense of how everything is feeling. Roll your shoulders. And then maybe turn sideways on your mat. So you got a nice long mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, goddess pose. So my toes are turned out, my knees are following my toes. I'm sitting back, tailbone nice and long. And then inhale. When you inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms, squeeze your butt. Exhale, slowly come down. Inhale, lift up, squeeze. Exhale, slowly come down. Good, 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Inhale, squeeze. Good, last one. Down you go. And inhale, lift up. Hold here, squeeze those hips, those glutes, let the hands come down, and then step your feet back to mountain or to hips width apart. So I want you to press down through a mirroring again, press down through your right leg, take the left arm up and forward, and then stamp that right foot. And everybody turning sideways can turn forward if you want. Sorry about that. So you're going to stamp down with one leg. You're going to reach up with the other and then see if you can lift a knee. And just breathe. Just a little balance work. And step down, release the arm. Stamp down with that side, like really feel your foot on the floor and then everything lift up from there. Take the other arm up. Even out your hips, your waist, and lift that knee. Stamp down on the foot. And release. Nice job, everybody. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees. Come on down, hands to heart. Lengthen your tailbone, lift your chest. Let's find chair pose. 1, you're here. 2, the arms extend. Find your breath. And then stand all the way up. Exhale, let go. Stamp your right foot down, lift the right arm up. Breathe, lift that opposite knee. Yep, find your pose. Stamp the foot. Release, let go. Other arm up. Other knee up. Woo, breathe. Release, both arms up. Exhale, come on down, hands come to heart. Lengthen the tailbone, lift the chest. Release arms optional. Make sure the knees are not curling up together. Sit back in that chair and stand all the way up. Exhale, let go. Good, shake that out. Come on back to the front of your mat. Take the blocks up nice and high. So we're gonna play with this idea of the hips again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Make sure your blocks are steady. When they're up high like that, they can get wobbly. Soften the knees and step back with your right leg. I want you to find a nice high lunge. And you're gonna start really low. So the chest is low. The back leg gets super active. I'm gonna reach my left hand forward. Oh, excuse me. And then I'm gonna take that left thumb into my hip and wrap my fingers around. So I want to keep that hip facing forward. At the same time, I want to fire up the back leg. So 1, you're here. 2, tuck the belly, reach the right arm up. And breathe. You can take the palm forward, find your breath, notice your hips. And then squeeze your belly to let that right hand come back down. Take the other hand to your block and straighten the front leg. So I'm dropping the back heel. That may or may not work for you. I'm purposefully staying high on the blocks because I want to see what's going on with the left hip. Is your left hip rolling forward? Is the inner knee rolling in and back? Can you find kind of a straight forward? And then what happens if you lift the back heel? While the front leg is relatively straight, squeeze the belly and then purposefully put that heel back down. Bend your front knee, walk the blocks forward a little bit, push off and step forward. Bend both knees and come on up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Squeeze your glutes. Right, so kind of a reset each time is that engagement of the glute and hip muscles, right? So you'll hear me say squeeze your glutes a lot today. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Pause, bend your knees. This time step back with your left foot and find your lunge, right? Your stance. By the way, if lunge is hard or a high lunge is hard, you can stay right here, hands on your blocks, right? Just kind of checking out where you are. And then reach the right hand forward and then bring it in and take that thumb to the hip crease and kind of squeeze it. It's almost like you're giving it a little extra support. Squeeze the belly, push into your back leg, and lift your left arm. Find your breath. And notice, right? If it's really hard to take the torso up, just bend the back knee, right? Your psoas might be a little on the tight side. Good, breathe everybody. Take the left hand down to your block, nice and slow. Release your right hand to the block and purposefully straighten your front leg. Now maybe that back heel will drop, maybe not. Soften the shoulders, extending the head out from those shoulders, right? So not dropping your chin. Play with the right hip, the front hip. Just see if it needs a little movement in or out. And then bend your front knee. Walk those blocks forward. Step forward. Bend both of your knees. Inhale, take it up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Squeeze your hips and glutes. Breathe. Good, let go. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Make sure your blocks are fully on your mat as we move them forward and back. Soften the knees, step back, right leg. Here we are in a lunge. Find your breath, tone the belly. No thumb this time. I want you to wrap the left hip back if it needs to be. Squeeze in through the belly. Keep your hands close and lift those arms up. Just a nice high crescent lunge. Nice high lunge. Find your breath. Take your hands to your heart. Drop the back heel in. Warrior one stance, right? You might have to shorten a little bit. Inhale, take the arms up. Breathe. The front hip is rolling back or reaching back. The back leg is active. The back foot ideally is pressing into the floor with those toes pointing more forward than sideways. Exhale, slow, hands to the blocks. Straighten-ish your back foot, straighten your front leg, and then drop your back heel. Variation here, pyramid pose. You can lower your blocks, but notice what's happening with that front hip. Maybe plant the big toe mound of your front foot. Good, bend your front leg, everybody. Walk your blocks forward a little bit, step forward. Whew. And inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart, squeeze your glutes. We got that one down. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Are you breathing, everybody? Step back, left leg. Find that nice distance between the legs. For most of it, it is hips width apart. For some, it's slightly wider just to make sure we've got good stability. The belly tones in, the hips level out. I'm not dropping the left hip, by the way, right? So think about that as we're rolling the right hip back. We don't want the left hip dropping to the floor. Keep it level if you can. Squeeze the belly, take those arms up. And breathe. Just notice. Take the hands to your heart. Careful here as you just change that back foot position. Maybe hop up just a little bit. Warrior one stance, take the arms up. And breathe. See if that pinky side of that foot can land on your mat. Exhale, hands down to your blocks. Maybe straighten that back foot a little bit and straighten the front leg. You can lower those blocks a little if you want. And just play here. How does it feel in your body? Have you tapped in to ask, right? How is this feeling in my body? Push into the back leg, everybody. Engage that front, that big toe mound, so that we keep the leg nice and straight. And then bend your front knee, walk the blocks forward, step forward, bend your knees, inhale, reach up, exhale to your heart. Release those hands, just grab one block and take it between your thighs, ideally a nice long block, and then walk the feet in and give it a good squeeze. I know. It feels so good. Right, so we engage that inner line, we bring, it's like taking all of these muscles and just wrapping them around the bones there, kind of like when we were using the strap. Good, and release, set that aside. So grab your strap. You're gonna want your blocks back up at the high level. So it's just a slightly tricky when I can't see everybody. So you're gonna take your strap, whoop, and make the loop bigger, not all the way big, but bigger. And I'm gonna start with the left leg out, so hopefully you can see it. So I've got this nice big loop, and I'm waiting for everybody else to get their loops. And then you're gonna step through it with your left leg. So if we all stay on the same side. Ideally, the tail of your strap is to the outside of that left leg. So it's gonna kind of look like this. The harder part is gonna be to grab your strap with your right foot and then step back. So a lot of control here. I'm stepping on the strap with my right foot, but the strap is around the left hip crease. So I want to make sure everybody's got it. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could turn your strap around, Carrie, just so the strap is to the outside, but you don't have to, as long as you can adjust it and make it tight. You got it, everybody good in the back? Yes, yes? Okay. So, right, so then I'm going to give it a good snug, and then I'm going to see if I can find that lunge. So take your hands to your blocks so you have some support, and then stretch the back foot or tighten the strap so that you have a pretty darn snug connection from the back foot to the front hip. So what is this doing? It's kind of like putting that thumb in your hip crease, right? So make sure you got a good solid hip, a good solid tight strap. Make sure the buckle, by the way, isn't digging into your hip. I just had to move mine. Take your hands to your knee. Lift your chest. Inhale the arms up. If you hate the strap, take the strap off, okay? So what are we doing? We're grounding this hip, this thigh, giving us some feedback. I'm in a lunge. I'm pushing on the strap with my back foot. Use your breath here. Exhale, slowly lower those hands to the floor. Drop your back foot. You might have to shorten or tighten. Come back up, warrior one. So the trick in warrior one is not necessarily a square hip, but it is the front hip kind of drawing deep. I won't even see out and back, but drawing deep to lift the torso, to take the arms up, keeping the back foot engaged. Exhale, hands down. One last time, maybe you shimmy the foot back. It won't be as tight, but straightening the front leg, keeping that back foot grounded and on the strap. Lengthening your tailbone, drawing the low belly up, finding your breath. Both hip points pointing forward. All right, so you're going to bend your back knee a little bit. You're going to take your blocks back up high, slide your front foot back. In other words, be careful as you step forward, and then come up, grab your strap. And then feel the hips, right? So I love the straps for feedback. And if the strap is to the outside of the hip, it's just easier to adjust. So if your strap ended up in the middle this last time, just turn it around before you step through. All right, so I'll turn over to the other side just so you can see it again. And again, don't worry about it if you like, I don't know what she's doing. So you're gonna step through with your right foot. The strap is gonna land right at that hip crease, right? So then you're just gonna look down, kind of grab it with your left foot and step back. Check your buckle, make sure it's not landing on something that hurts. And then walking that foot back, or just take the hands to the blocks so that you can find the adjustment in the thighs and in the legs that feels good to you. It's almost, again, as if someone were pulling the front hip back, allowing the left hip to move forward. All right, so we're where we were before on the other side. Take your hands to your knees. Take the arms up, just an easy high lunge here. Engage your back glute. Feel the tension. What's happening with your hips? Can you zip up the tight pair of jeans, right? Pubic bone to belly button. Breathe. Release, take your hands down. Drop your back foot to warrior one's position. Tighten the strap, I have to anyway. And take the arms up. And breathe. And notice, I'm just adjusting front foot forward a little. Just watch that left hip, right? Don't let it roll back, but don't force it forward either. Just see where it lands. Exhale, hands down. Last one, maybe slide that back foot back a little. Straighten your front leg. You can either keep the heel lifted or drop. Pyramid pose variation here. Find your breath. Bend your front knee, everybody. Take the blocks up higher so you have some stability. Start to bring those legs together. And step out of your strap. Bend your knees. Oh, and lift up. And just feel that for a second. Go ahead and set the strap down for now. Maybe grab your block and we'll do that little reset, that little squeeze. While Celeste deals with the bugs. Petals, okay. I saw you. I thought the ants are coming to get her. Good, nice squeeze of your block, everybody. Just feel that. And it doesn't have to be long, but I like that. I like all of the sensation in the length of my legs, but it doesn't work for everybody. And then squeeze your hips. Take your hands to your hips. And woo, see if you can lift your heels. Squeeze your block. Find your still point. Squeeze your belly. Lower down. Take that block out. Well done. Come back to the front of your mat. Have your blocks. And just feel mountain pose. Shoulders are back, chest is lifted. Tailbone is down. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. This in itself is a balanced pose. We take that sight out. Breathe. And then open the eyes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down. Soften the knees and step back, right leg, find that lunge. We are repeating and adding one thing. So find the lunge, imagine that strap is there, make the back leg active. Inhale, reach up. And breathe. Hands come to heart. Back foot drops. Front knee still bent. Front hip still reaching back. Inhale up, warrior one. Either the arms are separate or you can interlace here. Just watch your back. Exhale, hands down to your blocks. Straighten the front leg. Let's find our nice long version of pyramid. Back heel drops. Breathe. Bend your front leg. Listen up. Right hand stays on the block. The left arm reaches forward, out, and then up. Don't overshoot the shoulder. Breathe. Let that arm come all the way back behind you, back down to your blocks. Walk your blocks forward, push off, and lift your back leg. Squeeze your belly, neutral spine, even hips, and then slowly lower that right leg to meet the left. Bend both knees. Inhale all the way up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Release, let go, shake it out. Other side. So just have your blocks in position if they are off your mat. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Soften the knees, step back left leg. Let's find that first lunge. Play with the hips, not only side to side, but up and down. See if we can find that neutral hip. Press through the back leg, lift the arms up. Easy high lunge. Or knee down, I didn't say that all class, but Some of you know you can always take that knee down. Breathe, hands to heart. Drop the back foot. Level the hips somewhat. I don't ever force these hips in Warrior One because that back hip is often back. Take the arms up. Either the arms are separate or they're interlaced, whatever feels good. Exhale, hands come down all the way to your blocks, straighten or walk that back foot back, and then straighten the front leg. Can lower your blocks here. I know some of you can come all the way to the floor. Just see if you can stay in a neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Deep breath. Bend your front knee. Leave your left hand on your block. Straighten your back foot if it was turned slightly, and reach up with your right arm. Find your breath. Circle it all the way back down. Bend your back knee. Walk your blocks forward. Carefully, strongly lift up the back leg, standing strong on that right foot. And then bend both knees, soften and drop the left foot. Breathe, bend both knees. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to your heart. Release. Good job, everybody. So back to the front of your mat if you're not. Come on up. We're taking it to the floor, all the way down. Whew. You're going to need a block later, so we'll grab it when we're ready. Bend your knee if you can. Well, let's just step back down dog. Let's make that easier. I just realized some people wouldn't be able to do what I was just going to do. So spread your fingers. Imagine that somebody has those hips, or that rope, that strap is wrapped around your hips and wrapped around a pole or a doorknob behind you. Lengthen your spine, level out your hips. Draw the pubic bone toward the belly button's thumb, but keep the hamstrings nice and long. Breathe. Tippy toes. Lower those knees to the floor. And if it is okay in your body, child's pose. Stretch it out. Just breathe. Let the belly be soft. Let your breath start to level out. Become fully present in your body. What do you feel? And then mindfully come to table pose, down to elbows. Let's walk it out. Come down to your belly. And once you're on your belly, just let your head relax. So you can, I usually keep my head lifted some so I can talk, but maybe your hands are a pillow, right? Maybe you figured out a way to make that comfortable. But then walk the thighs long and take the feet wider toward the edges of your mat. So starting here, I want you to feel the pubic bone draw up toward the belly button, allowing the tailbone to get nice and long. From here, see if both legs will lift. Now, if you're on a really hard surface, maybe a pillow underneath the pelvis would have been a good idea, a blanket would have been good. So take the time to do that if you want. And then lower those legs down. And then simply engage the right glute and lift the right leg. And lower that. Engage the left glute and lift the left leg. Lower that Engage both hips, both legs, lift both legs. And lower that. Bend both knees, windshield wiper, shake that out. And then lower the legs again, take them, keep them wide on your mat. Press down through the pubic bone. Breathe. Take the hands behind you, the palms are face up. Press the shoulders away from the floor. Squeeze the glutes and lift the legs. The backs of the hands are pressing into the floor. Find your breath. And lower down, let the hands make a pillow, shake out your hips. Good, we have two more here. We're just gonna add one more element. So take the hands back. Pull the shoulders away from the floor, engage your back body, squeeze the glutes, lift your legs. One, you're here. Two, you're down. That's enough back bending for you. Three, you're gonna take the arms out to the side as if you were flying. Palms are face down. And breathe. Good, listen up. You're gonna take those hands to the top corners of your mat. And as you push into your hands, the legs are gonna lower. Variation here of cobra. If this hurts your back, the elbows are down. Breathe. And then lower your body. Go back where you started, arms out, arms back, everything down. Good, shake it out. We have one more here, everybody. So important, right? To make sure we're lengthening that tailbone down to the floor, moving the pubic bone up toward the belly button, really lengthening the whole lower back here. And you can do any portion of this, right? You don't have to do it all. There's a concept. All right, hands back, everyone. Engage the back body, pull the shoulders off the floor, lift the legs, breathe. Now imagine somebody has your fingertips and are pulling them down toward the feet. Start to lift the arms, take them out to the sides, listen up. You're going to take the right arm forward, the left arm back, as if you're swimming, and then switch. And then both arms forward, locust pose. Woo! And then hands down, legs down, lift the arms straight. Breathe, stretch your belly, tone it in. Find your breath. Lower all the way down. Whew. Use your hands for a pillow, bend your knees, windshield wiper. We're getting ready to turn onto our backs, but just look around and make sure you've got both your strap and a block nearby. And then just roll to one side, just one side. Those of you who take class with me know this is my favorite transition from back bending. I start on my side, knees are bent. We let the back settle. Find your breath. And then as you're ready, come onto your sides, grab your strap. If you can, and if you can't, don't worry about it, but you're gonna take that loop back around the hips, which is a little harder in this position. So just take it through the legs, lift your hips, find the strap along the sacrum, and then tighten the heck out of the strap again. Bless you. Make sure the buckle is not hitting a hard bone. somewhere. Make sure it's in the soft belly. And then grab your block, lift the hips, and place the block at the lowest level under your sacrum. So, again, coming back to the beginning of class, when my SI joint is out, and I've learned this from other teachers as well, if you are in a what they call a restorative bridge pose and the block goes across both SI joints, it can really help calm things down. Plus, we've got that strap there giving the hips a little bit of a hug. So I want you to pause here. Shoulders are back on the floor. The head is neutral. You can just let your hands come down to your sides. And I want you to take a nice deep breath here. Just breathe it in and breathe it out. Give a sense or an awareness of how your hips are feeling, maybe how the SI joints are feeling, the glutes, the back. So when you're here, too, you're going to bring the right knee toward your chest. You can use your hands to hold it, but you don't really have to or don't really need to. Once you're there, start to straighten the left leg. So here we are going into the psoas muscle a little bit. The pelvis should be neutral. So in other words, I've got my sacrum on the block. And I'm just relaxing here. I'm not pulling or tugging or trying to make anything deeper. I'm just allowing a little bit of a deep belly, deep core stretch, possibly. If you feel nothing, that's okay too. Soften the entire body. And very slowly start to bend the left knee, draw the left knee toward your chest, hold on to that, and just put the right foot on the floor. So we always want to assess side to side. Once you're there, if it feels okay, you're going to straighten the right leg any amount. It can stay bent. You're not pulling the knee into your chest. You're just allowing the sacrum is nice and solid on your block. Relax the feet and the jaw and the belly. Soften even more. Slowly bend the right knee. Both knees are lifted. Your hands come down to the floor, palms are face down. And if you're okay with it, your feet go up toward the ceiling. Just a small restorative inversion. You want to find that place where the legs can hover unassisted. Let the upper body be really heavy. And here, I'm at the top of my sacrum, so I'm a little bit rounded, and that feels good. You can play with the sacrum flat or the sacrum just a little bit tucked so that the tailbone is lifted. Can you let go here? Can you be fully present? Good. One more nice deep breath here. Very slowly bend the knees toward your chest. Allow one foot to come to the floor. Pause. The other foot comes to the floor. Pause here. And then press into your feet. Lift off your block. Lengthen your tailbone and allow your hips to drop. So if the strap around your hips feels okay, go ahead and leave that there. And then take the tail end of your strap and wrap it underneath your thighs as if you're going to wrap your whole thighs up. Take it out the other end. You could do that once or twice, depending on how big your strap is. And then just kind of snug the tail end underneath. And then very mummy like, straighten your legs. If it is too tight, just loosen it up. So now we've not only contained the thighs or the hips, but also the thighs. And again, if it's too tight, just loosen it some. You don't want it to feel gripping, but you want it to feel supportive and somewhat contained. When you're ready, let those legs release and relax. If you don't like the strap, go ahead and take it off. Allow the arms to come down to your sides. The palms are face up or resting on your belly. And let's find our Shavasana. And as you start to settle down to the mat, maybe send love to all of the places in your body that are healing. Send love out to the people around you, and then maybe out into the world. Allow yourself to go softer still. For those of you who are ready, just start to wiggle your toes, your fingers. If you would like to stay in Shavasana much longer, please do. Start to bend the knees. And as you draw those knees closer, just undo the strap, especially the one around your thighs, if it is there. You can loosen the buckle as well. And then draw your knees to your chest. Allow the knees to roll to one side. Curl over in fetal pose. And then as you're ready, press up. Coming back to your seat. And as you're ready, inhale, take the arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom and strength and the presence that you bring to this life. Namaste, everyone. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.